What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be going over an advanced slap bass riff that's going to incorporate a ton of different techniques to help you level up your playing. So this bass line is going to be built around a motif. That's the... And then it's just variations based on that. There's 5 different variations in total. The whole thing's going to be like an AABA kind of thing. So it's going to be 1, variation 2, variation 3, variation 4. And then 1, 2, and 3 are going to repeat, and then 1 to bring it home all the way at the end to the beginning. So let's start with getting that actual motif down. So very slowly, that's... Once again. You're going to begin with a 2-finger tap on the 14th fret of the D string and the 15th fret of the G string. Get that nice tritone, and then you're going to slide it up a half step, 1 fret up. So that's going to be... And then you're going to take your 2nd finger of your fretting hand, and you're going to tap it down on a G on the 3rd fret of the E string. So altogether, that's going to be... One more time. Tap, slide, tap. And then after you perform that, there's going to be like a little muted strum ghost thing, where I'm just strumming down all the strings with the back of my fingernails, like, bop, and then I'm pulling it back up a second time. You can do this either with like the front of your fingers, or I like to do it with the side of my index finger right here. So putting that together with the slidey thing, and then you're going to tap another G right at the end. So after you tap that G, you're going to do another slap right on that G, and then you're going to do a ghost note pop right there on the G string. So slow it down. And now we're going to start working on the variations for this different bass line. So that first variation is going to start with a slap on an open E string. You're going to hammer on to the 1st fret on the note F and pop the octave. So that's going to be... So after the... After you pop that F on the 3rd fret of the D string, you're going to go right down to another ghost note slap. Anywhere, it doesn't really matter. I'd like to do it on the E string, but wherever's comfortable for you. Even if you're hitting all the strings with your hand, that's fine too. Like a big palm mute thing, whatever, as long as you get the sound out. And then a ghost note pop as well. So open E, hammer on, pop, ghost, ghost. And then you're going to finish off that line with another open slap on the E and hammer on to the 2nd fret this time, the note F sharp. So altogether that variation, open E, hammer on, pop the F, ghost, ghost, open E, F sharp. And it's very important that you're tapping with one hand on this F sharp on the E string, because that gives you time to move this hand back to the position in order to pull off another slide to begin the line for the 2nd variation. So the 2nd variation of this line is a lot easier than the first one. You're going to start with at the beginning of the motif with the tap, slide, and then you're going to tap, strum, strum, tap, slap, pop, open E, hammer onto the F, pop the octave, do the double ghost note, same thing as the first line, and then instead of doing that whole business with the F sharp, you're just going to slap the note B flat right here on the 1st fret of the A string. That whole 2nd variation is going to be tap, slide, tap, strum, strum, and then you're going to tap, slap, ghost, open E, hammer onto the F, pop the octave, ghost, ghost, slap the B flat. So all together. I would recommend before moving on, try to loop the 1st and the 2nd parts of the lines together, because once we have like the basic structure of how it's going to work, everything's going to be so much easier to pull off in time. So those 2 lines together. Now, the third variation of this line is going to be a lot like the first. So we're going to start with the beginning of the motif. And then we're going to move on to this other part of the line where instead of, once again, doing that business down here with the open E strings, we're going to slap the B flat on the first fret of the A string, hammer onto the C on the third fret of the A string, pop the E on the second fret of the D string, and hammer onto the E, and hammer onto the F on the third fret of the D string. So you get that like, and it's once again, it's important that you hammer on so this hand's not busy and you could move it and get ready to go again. So that whole third line is nice and slow. It's going to be that tap on the tritone, slide, tap, strum, strum, tap, slap, ghost note, open E, hammer onto the F, pop the octave, and then as soon as you pop the octave, you're going to go right down with another slap on that B flat. And that's where that second part of the line starts. So that whole thing at speed. One more time. So the fourth variation of that line is very similar to the second, except instead of slapping that B flat at the end, we're slapping the F on the first fret of the E string. One more time. That's going to be tap, slide, tap, strum, strum, tap, slap, pop, open E, hammer onto the F, and slap the F one more time. So all together. So the fifth variation of this line is going to start just as the same way as all the other ones. You begin the motif, and then instead of going down to this open E, you're going to pop this F on the third fret of the D string. You're going to go onto a slap right fourth below it on C, and you're going to hammer onto D. You're going to pop, slap, and then hammer on, and then you're going to slap again a half step lower on that tritone on D flat, sliding down to C. So one more time. And then the final note, you're going to slap this B flat on the E string. So that whole line, all together with the whole line. One more time. I would recommend taking all these variations, mixing and matching them, putting them in some different orders, and creating your own. Everything that's part of the G Dorian scale is probably going to sound pretty good. The link to the backing track that I used at the beginning of this video is going to be down in the description. Free download link. It's just like some kick and some snare, but it's good for practicing to this kind of stuff. If you guys like this video, if you learned something, give it a like, leave a comment, make sure to subscribe, and thank you guys so much for watching.